I've been hearing a little bit, and I kind of wanted to talk about this because we've been hearing a little bit that TikTok got bought out by,
Oracle.
and Oracle is what?
Like, I don't know. They, I know them because they like contract themselves.
They can do a lot of software stuff.
Yeah, software stuff. A lot of for big hospital
benefits, those types of things.
Yeah, it's their operating
HR
systems.
administrative system. Yeah. So I think so they bought out a percentage of them, and that was because the Chinese owned them. Trump said that they had to sell.
It was owned by
ByteDance,
which is a Chinese company.
Yeah. So now I'm seeing reports, and I don't think there's anything. This has just happened within I think the last week and a half. So, but a lot of people are claiming that there's censoring that's happening. So they're being censored. Things like
conservatives are.
No, liberals are.
Liberals are being censored on TikTok.
If they bring up
I don't believe that.
Epstein, that it's not being, it's being dethrottled and people aren't able to listen to it or hear it as much.
Yeah, well, I mean, our daughter is on TikTok and she's like, it's just liberal ninny garbage.
Yeah, she's on.
So
TikTok
I don't know how true that is.
That is. Yeah. So that is hard to believe.
She says, "Nuh-uh."
That is hard to believe, but you're starting to hear it, and I just want to make sure on our side we're not doing the same thing that they did to us
again.
So if you just to kind of remind my liberal friends what happened to us during COVID, and when the transgender stuff was happening, we were highly, highly censored, and I have some data to remind you guys of that. And first, remember the COVID stuff I'm pretty sensitive about because I live in Illinois, and
gosh, it was horrible here. Even out here.
It was 2020, I believe, when the COVID mandates and the regulation started, and it didn't end for us until 2023. I think it was either March or April of 2023.
Yeah, and they made them wear masks in schools, and I don't know, when you get out into these communities, a lot of our schools are very old and they don't have air conditioners. Yeah. So they were forced to wear masks in 100-degree weather. It was ridiculous, and I got so mad. I made them masks that were like mesh masks. And I told them, you could see our you could see our mouths. And they were just like, I remember Evie our oldest wore one to school, and they were like, "Is that gonna work?" And she's like, "Yeah." And they just kind of brushed it off. Anyway, go ahead.
And we know we are not the people that think COVID was not a real thing. Like, we know that it was a virus and that it did hurt many people. We just don't believe in giving up our rights. And that's what. And I think
it was a cold. He thinks it was a real thing. It was a cold.
One of the complaints that that I have against Trump is that he did the 2 weeks.
He did it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he pushed the vaccine really hard. He did the 2 weeks, and that's something that I don't really appreciate. Looking back, especially now, we didn't know. It was a pandemic, the first pandemic like this that we've ever seen, but that really kind of triggered a lot of, especially liberal states, to lock down their state. And I owned a company that, it definitely hurt my company because we were door-to-door people. We were people that go into homes, and we couldn't do that. So it definitely, I'm definitely probably more bitter than most people, but also just the fact that, if people are scared of something, stay in your freaking house. Don't make me do what you want to do. Like, stay in your house. If you're that scared of it, stay in your house.
Yeah, you protect the people with comorbidities and that were higher risk for it. But like people like us, it's like we were pretty healthy. We weren't, we didn't have any comorbidities. We weren't overweight, and that's the people it was really affecting the most. Were older people that were overweight or heavy,
right?
Extremely unhealthy.
And I would have told those people it's smarter to stay in your house and protect yourself. But don't make me and my family who are healthy that don't want to do that we've made the decision not to do that. And it's not going to affect you because you're in your house. You have your mask on. Mm-hmm. If you've got your mask on and masks actually work, then you don't have to worry if I don't have my mask on.
That's the problem is that they didn't work.
And we said that over and over again. And I put that stuff on Facebook, and sometimes it would disappear. Other times I would have a message from Facebook basically saying, this is
it's 'cause Facebook's
something against,
garbage.
policy or whatever.
I hate
So,
Facebook.
and this has all been, this isn't like a theory. This isn't like TikTok is
No, they
throttling.
were I remember people that I watched on YouTube, they could not talk about it.
Yeah.
They would censor themselves when they talked about it.
Well, this is what Mark Zuckerberg said. So it says between 2021 and 2024, Facebook engaged in what critics call unprecedented censorship of COVID-19 content. In August 2024, Mark Zuckerberg sent a now famous letter to the House Judiciary Committee admitting the following: government pressure was given. He stated that senior officials from the Biden-Harris administration repeatedly pressured Meta for months to censor certain COVID content, including any humor or satire. You couldn't even joke about it, or they would be censored. Admission of regret. Zuckerberg wrote, "I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it." And man, I don't give him any credit. The only reason why he changed is because at the same time this was happening, Elon Musk was buying Twitter, which is now X.
Yeah.
And he said, bull crap to the censorship. I'm not listening to anyone. I'm going to allow people back on the platform that were removed. Because remember, people were getting removed left and right off of those platforms.
Conservatives were largely wiped off that platform, off of Twitter at the time.
So they did a U-turn, but their U-turn was only because Elon Musk led the way.
Yeah,
and
that changed the trajectory.
Followed.
Him doing that changed him, and Charlie Kirk changed the trajectory of that election and getting us out of that.
In the other part was transgender subjects. So in a massive policy shift on January 7th of 2025, Meta announced it was rolling back many of its hate speech and harassment rules to allow for more open political and religious debate. Meta removed specific restrictions on discussing gender identity. They stated that the previous rules had become too restrictive and were being used to shut down mainstream opinions. So, I mean, they're protected by it's like Section 230 because basically Section 230 says you're a platform.
You're not a publisher.
You're not a publisher. So you can't be sued. If Zach Grady comes in and says something offensive to people, then you can't come in and sue Meta
Facebook
or Mark Zuckerberg for what Zach Grady said.
Right.
So because of that, in my opinion, and many legal scholars say they shouldn't be censoring at all. That's not their job. And because
I would agree with that.
And because it's a public square, it's considered public. Then there should be no censoring. It's like me going to a park. I should be able to say whatever I want to say.
Right.
So
yeah, it impedes your freedom of speech because it is a public square at that point. Yeah, that's the way it's acting.
Yeah, and people can say, "Hey, this is mean. This is hate speech." That's fine. Hate speech is allowed in the United States. That's what makes us different from Europe and Canada and many other places. That we allow speech that people don't like, because if you start censoring, what Lily doesn't like, what Nidrona doesn't like, what April doesn't like, what Zach doesn't like, could be all different based on our religious backgrounds, based on our political backgrounds, based on how we grew up. All that can be different. So then who's right? So you can't do that. Yeah. So you've just got to be tough and know that people are going to have different opinions, and some might be offensive to you, and they can say rude, they can say racist things, they can say stuff about your church, and it should all be allowed. And if you don't want to buy that person's products, if you don't want to listen to that product, if you don't want to be their friend because of what they said, then that's great. That's what America is all about. You can make that decision. Mm-hmm. But telling people that they can't speak, that's against everything the United States believes in.
Well, what do you think about these employers being able to tell people what they can say online?
I don't like it. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Like if you look at where you work, look at their social media policies. It's pretty bad. Like a lot of them won't even allow you to give your opinion online, even if you don't link yourself to them. If they find your content online, they can fire you. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. And to me, that's my right. If I don't link myself to my company, in any way, I should be able to say what I want. I'm not representing you. I'm representing me. When you're paying me, I'm not saying nothing. On my own time, I'm saying stuff. So I think it's absolutely crazy that these companies have been able to write policies like that. I think the government should step in and say, you can't do this. This is their right and it's protected because they're God-given rights, not company-given rights.
Yep. New allowances under the hate conduct policy Meta now permits allegations that transgenderism is a mental illness or abnormality when discussed in a political or religious context. Use of the word "it" to describe non-binary or transgender individuals in injunction that was previously strictly enforced. So you can do that now. Claims that transgender people do not exist. You can say that now. Dehumanization limits. While they now allow insulting language in political debates, Meta maintains they will still remove direct incitement to violence or comparisons of protected people to animals or filth. So, and I agree with the incitement to violence. Like nobody, even if you have a mental illness condition or if you're doing something that you think is super strange, these people that dress up as bunnies or think they're foxes or whatever, yeah, they're a
Furries,
bunch of
Ethereans.
they're a bunch of weirdos. But they can do what I don't care what they do. That's up to them. Now, if they ask me, I reserve the right to tell them what I think, but not to outlaw someone for acting a certain way. If I want to tell them that they're a weirdo, I can tell them they're a weirdo. And then they can tell me to go jump off a bridge. That's what being an American is all about, Yeah. And that's metaphorically. They're not, you can't tell me to hurt myself.
Chris says there's no hate speech.
There is no hate speech. I agree with that.
Yeah.
There's just speech.
I agree with that too. There's just speech.
And
you don't like it, don't listen.
Yeah.
Move on.
If you hate it, move on. Don't listen.
Yeah.
They ended the fact-checking program. So remember, this is where they were fact-checking everybody.
I remember you little blocks under
little
everything.
Stupid blocks. So when I would say, I've gotten COVID, I should be more immune than what a shot could be, which is true.
It's herd immunity.
They would take that. And they would have that little fact-check box and say that I was wrong. Or if you were saying shots could have adverse effects, which of course they do. If you watch every commercial, you see that you got that microman, that's saying 1,000 words a minute, and now they're acting like nothing can happen.
It's funny. Our ADHD daughter was watching one of those, and she's like, she's catching every bit of it. Like she was watching a pharmaceutical ad, and he was rambling it off really quick, and he was talking about all the adverse side effects, and she was like, she looks at me, she goes, "Why would anyone ever take this medicine? I think it'll make you worse."
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about most medicine.
My wise mother always has told us to try not to take medicine. And I think it's good wisdom.
Unless you're really sick and throwing up. Then take all the time all you want.
No, I don't know about that either. April's kind of the opposite. She loves a good pill.
I know. Ibuprofen.
But I don't know if I could count on one hand the amount of times that my mom gave us medicine as a kid. And I hardly take medicine to this day. So I think it's wise advice to try to let your body naturally heal things. Now, there's obviously, I'm not an anti-vax person.
You're not beating polio, bro.
Right. I don't want to get polio or try to beat polio or rabies, So I'm okay with taking medicines, although I do like that they went from, I think, 72 vaccines down to like 12 is what.
That's good.
Maha.
You don't need all these vaccines. They have so many detergents and other harmful chemicals in them. Well, just take what you need.
Yeah.
And,
which they were like recommending vaccines for like hepatitis B, which is like a sexually transmitted disease.
Chickenpox.
For
I don't understand why people get chickenpox. I got chickenpox. I was just fine. Everybody had chickenpox.
Oh man, I don't know, but once you get that vaccine, we can get what's it called?
The shingles.
The shingles.
But our kids
I
can't.
don't think they can.
Maybe we should go get them. I don't want. I've known people.
No,
that
we
get
already
shingles.
got them. Now that we already got them, we can get shingles.
Oh, if you get them naturally, you
you
can get shingles.
That's how I understand it. I could be wrong. So if anyone wants to fact check
Yeah,
me
check
on
us
that,
on
that would
that.
that would be
I'd like to
interesting.
know
But
because if I go take that vaccine, I've known people to get shingles and they're in the hospital for a couple of weeks
yeah,
because
they
they're
can
in
get-
so much
they
pain.
can
That
get painful.
terrifies me. So if I go get the chickenpox vaccine, if it'll stop me from getting shingles, I think they have a shingles vaccine, don't they?
I think they do now too. They got a vaccine for everything.
Yeah, I might do
Now
that.
remember, the vaccines were supposed to also, another thing that they told us, that if you get the vaccine, remember they told us this, that you won't be able to
I
spread
remember
it to others.
Rachel Maddow.
You
She
won't
was
be
the
able to
one that was
spread it to
driving it
others.
hard.
Like there's a force field around you. Now there's no other medicine that says that. When you get a virus, you're breathing it in. Usually there's little particles of like humidity or whatever in the air, and it gets into you. You have it, and then when you breathe it out, you can give it to other people.
Right.
Well, okay, what they were trying to convince us was you're going to kill other people because if you had this vaccine, you won't be able to spread it, which is total BS from the start.
That's not how any vaccines work.
Well, that's how, any biology that you took in high school or even junior high would tell you that's
Even
not
the
how
flu
viruses
vaccine
work.
doesn't work that way. The measles vaccine doesn't work that way.
Right.
It just stops you from being, it makes you pretty much
Symptomatic.
you asymptomatic. You can still carry it and still give it to people. Even if you have, say, the chickenpox vaccine. If you have the chickenpox, you might not get chickenpox, but if you have it, you can give it to other people. So
That's
in my
right.
mind, that makes it more dangerous because you're asymptomatic.
Yeah. Yep. So it's again, it was a lot of BS. They were just trying to get us to take.
Yeah,
the
I knew that
vaccines.
was BS because that's
we won't
never
get into
how any
Fauci, but-
vaccines worked.
Yeah. So there's tons of censoring going on. I don't. Again, you're playing a little tit for tat according to what you said before, but I don't want TikTok to start censoring my liberal
Take them down.
comrades. I don't think it's good to do. So I would say we've got to be careful on doing the tit for tat.
No,
because then where does it end? Where does
I
it end?
agree with. I believe people should talk. So I like that they can say what they want online, and then we can shoot back at them. Because when people stop, like what Charlie Kirk said, when people stop talking, that's when things go south.
Yeah.
So I don't want them to be censored. I'm probably more gung ho about more of the like legal stuff that's going on and just trying to get our system under control.
Right. Yep.
And our indoctrination camps abolished.
Yeah. And new people come in with TikTok, maybe they have changed algorithms or something like that. They're doing things a little bit different. So I think it's just something to keep an eye on, and we got to call balls and strikes as we see it. So hopefully that's not something, and maybe, if something like this happens, they know what they did to us. So they're probably saying we're going to do it back. So I wouldn't be surprised.
They're going to do it back anyway.
But I'd like to
you
see
do
if there's any-
understand that.
Yeah, they're probably going to do it back. That's right. But I just don't think it's smart to escalate it. It's 4 years. It takes a long time to.
They're going to
It takes a long
escalate it.
time to turn a big ship. That's the beauty of.
I
our
understand
government.
that, but we don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, everybody. They said that with Obama. The liberals said that with Trump. There's going to be a dictator. He's going to take over. He's going to be a king. He's never going to leave. They're saying that right now. It's a bunch of BS to try to scare us. Conservatives said it with Biden and with Obama. I mean, I hear it all the time. I think
Well, hopefully he's given him a hard enough blow that'll help take him longer to recoup it. But you've got to get him out of the institutions. You've got to get our institutions back at any cost. At any cost, you've got to get him back.
At any cost.
Arresting them.
Arresting who?
The people that are committing these frauds.
Oh yeah. Are you talking specifically Minneapolis fraud stuff, or what are you talking about?
Any institution that they have fraud in, finding the fraud and stamping it out and making sure that, these ideologies aren't overthrowing our schools.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, that is the subject matter that I've got for this evening. I appreciate everybody that's jumped on to listen to our podcast. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe. I appreciate. There's tons of comments that we got here, so
Thanks, guys.
I appreciate everybody that has commented. If you can bookmark too, put that bookmark where it says save. Hit save so you can come back and listen to this if you like. And I hope you guys all have a good night. Thanks.
Good night.